everyone. I am a married woman with 8 children. We are raising 7 with 1 in heaven. When growing up, we went to church off and on. We didn't really have that strong relationship with God, but my parents tried to introduce us to that, got us into youth during our teenage years, and that's when I did feel like my relationship with God grow. I did get saved early in life. I don't even remember how old I was. I don't even remember how old I was when I was baptized. I do remember the baptism and the awesome experience it was. But just as I grew, my parents went through a difficult time, and they ended up separating at one point, and it was then that we stopped going to church and we stopped relying on God. And me being a teen, I didn't really notice much of a difference, and I just went on with my life. My parents did eventually get divorced. There was a lot of things that was involved with that with my mother. Things that she did that hurt us, and that deep hurt was something that I held on to. I was very angry, and I took it out on just my behavior with the things that I would do as a teenager that I shouldn't have been doing at the time. I did get in contact with my husband, Caleb. Eventually, we knew each other from a really young age, and at that time, I was looking for the relationship, but I didn't realize what it would mean. I did move out of my father's house at the age of 18. I wasn't talking to my mother at the time. I didn't talk to her for years. As Caleb and I's relationship progressed, he didn't realize that he was the one that helped me help reintroduce that relationship with God by bringing me to church. Almost every week I would go, and God was slowly working on me then. And I started seeing him a little bit more, just through going to church and through the relationship with Caleb. Not everything was perfect. I wasn't making the best decisions then. Eventually, Caleb and I did conceive our first set of twins. And at that point, we got married, and we repented. But throughout the years, of course, we've had those 8 children, one in which we adopted. It wasn't until we moved back to the Hill Country area from Dallas-Fort Worth, when spending a year and a half there, that my relationship really took off with the Lord. I started working at Vera Strength and Fitness, which was an amazing place to really experience God and be able to be surrounded and have that camaraderie with people and be able to encourage one another. And that's when God was able to really dig in, because my heart was open. My mind was open to what he had for me and for my family. And so my relationship just started growing. I started going to Rockpile Church. I couldn't tell you the exact year. What year was Rockpile originally opened? It was during Well-Played years. It was still a little bit new for me, I want to say, at that point, as far as what am I supposed to do in this relationship with God? As a wife, as a mother, how does that fit into our life? And he really showed me that there is community, and that community helps build us. We did eventually conceive another set of twins in 2017. We were so excited about, and this was when I was at an all-time high in my relationship with the Lord. It was amazing. About 20 weeks in, we found out that, it hits me every time. Our son, Brody, had passed away, and his sister survived, and I had to move on through the pregnancy for the next 3 months as he stayed there with his sister. That shook my faith so much. Through that time, it was when I had to really, really rely on those around me, the community that he has put around me, in Rockpile, through Barris, just within the hill country, but a lot of it came from the church, a lot of it came from Barris. It was really, really hard. I tried to focus on a miracle I just knew was gonna happen. That miracle was gonna take place. He was gonna fully restore our baby boy, and he was gonna be born with his twin sister in January, or at the time we thought February, but it turned out to be January. And unfortunately, that answer was no. And we had to accept that. We had to bury our son, which was the hardest thing a mom can never do, is bury their own child and be able to say, okay, he's with Jesus now. And learn how to live life in that grief while raising other children and still being a wife was the most difficult time that I have ever been through. And I felt my faith took a dramatic dip, and I was searching again of who I was in Christ. How can I still have this deep faith when God didn't give me what I really thought I deserved at the time? Excuse me. But he showed me that he was still there through the loneliness, through the tears, through the screaming, through every emotional possible that I would go through. He appointed me to an amazing biblical counselor who helped get me back on my feet and showing me how the Lord was still there and how he was the one that was giving me strength. And what do I do with this? How can I build this testimony with this? And since then, which was about 3.5 years ago, he has shown me how this testimony was used for good for his kingdom, even out of something so tragic. And it's something that I can share with others now that there is hope, there is faith, even in the valley when walking with Jesus. And I continue to rely on that and grow in that every day and be able to share that testimony of faith, even when God says no.